Fellow Rotarians, the meeting is now called to order. Please rise for the national anthem.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkal Banga Vindhya Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchala Jaladi Taranga Tab Shubh Naame Jage Tab Shubh Ashish Mange Gahe Tab Jaya Gatha Jana Gana Mangala Dayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Jaya He Jaya He Jaya Jaya
President Shanaz, please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Today, I'm very pleased to announce that we are going to start a project called the Rotary Model Village Project. We want each and every Rotarian to invest in something that is meaningful in the rural area. In November, a few of us went, like Preeti, Framrose, Ramesh, Mihir, a few of us went together to see the projects that have been done earlier and the project that we did this year. And we were amazed at how much was achieved and how much good we were able to do to the villagers. We saw the fields being irrigated. We saw water being given to each and every household through a mound or a bund or something like a tank, where we saw water filters being given. There was a big water filter from Australia which gave drinking water. And we also spoke to all the villagers, and each and every one of them said, this project, what we have done for them, giving them power, giving them water, giving their schools light and digital facilities, has made such a transformation in their lives. They were actually begging us to start at other villages. Other villagers came, sat down and said, why can't you do us? We want you to do our village. And they actually sat down and we had a kind of meeting with them. So it came to our mind that if this is so important, why do we only just go to donors? Why don't our own members give a little bit and invest in something that is so meaningful to rural India, where each one of us will feel, okay, I've done a little bit for my club to start something in rural India. And so I asked both Pratibha and Sabha to come and give us a little description of what they do, how they do it, what are the benefits that have come up in I think we've done 9 villages so far, and how this new village that we want to take up will impact the villagers, almost 2,000 villagers. So without going too much into any more detail, I will ask Akshay to, but before that, Akshay, can you start the birthday announcements?
Yes, President Shanaz, thank you. Members celebrating their birthday during the week. 11th January, past President Rotarian Dr. Ati Dastoor. 13th January, Rotarian Jay Advani, Rotarian Sheila Bulchandani, and Rotarian Pranay Vakil. 14th January, past President Rotarian Kalpana Munshi. 15th January, Rotarian Baji Bilimoria. and Rotarian Chandra Singh Lodha. 16th January, Rotarian Darayas Irani and Rotarian Prakash Jotwani and Rotarian Arin Master. And 17th January, Rotarian Apurva Divanji and past President Rotarian Haresh Jagtiani.
Happy birthday to all of you. May you all continue to give actively to the Rotary, and may you all be very healthy and happy this year. I now request Chirag Foundation to make a presentation on the RCB village.
Good afternoon, friends. May I request Akshay to share the screen with Sabah?
I have done that already.
You've done that? Okay, just give us a moment to look. Good afternoon, friends. And I see a lot of my friends here. And thank you, President Shahnaz, for inviting Team Chirag to present to you guys. Very happy birthday to all those whose birthdays are coming up in this week, and a special birthday greeting to Dr. Dastoor. I have had the good fortune of spending some time with him. May you have a happy and healthy year. As I say, seeing is believing. So I want to start my presentation with a short video. Can we have the video, please?
उजाला बहुत ही छोटा शब्द है ना हमारे लिए, पर कई लोगों की जिंदगी में ये बहुत ही बड़ी चीज है। बड़ी चीज छोड़ो, उनके लिए तो सपना है। हम लोगों को आदत हो गई है हर जगह सिर्फ कमी देखने की और उस कमी के बारे में कुछ ना करने की। पर आज भी ऐसे कई लोग हैं जो सिर्फ इनके मुंह पे एक छोटी सी मुस्कान देखने के लिए घंटों काम करते हैं। इन्हें जिंदगी में आगे बढ़ने के लिए सिर्फ इनकी हिम्मत ही नहीं, बल्कि इनका सहारा भी बनते हैं। जिधर रोशनी की उम्मीद भी नहीं थी, ये वहां रोशनी ले आए। थोड़े से पानी के लिए जहां मीलों चढ़ना पड़ता था, अब वहां हर मिनट पानी आता है। ये बच्चे देख रहे हैं आप, जब ये इधर आए थे तो इन्हें कोई अंदाजा भी नहीं था कि आज क्या होने वाला है। But thanks to Suryakum, today they learned how to cook their own meals with the help of solar energy. पर ऐसे और कई बच्चे हैं जिन्हें उजाले का इंतजार है, और इनकी जिंदगी में ये उजाला लाना हमारी जिम्मेदारी है।
Just a brief video to show you a glimpse of what the true reality is in the forgotten Bharat. With no electricity, the one-room mud shelter that you see on the screen is probably 200 odd kilometers away from the bustling metropolis of Mumbai, and it has only a kerosene lamp for light. This is a sight so commonly seen in rural India in various parts, where power remains unaffordable, inadequate, or simply non-existent for around 200 million people. This is the Bharat that needs to catch up with the developed part of India. Our villagers have been so trapped in a cocoon of poverty, illiteracy, ill health, and a very regressive mindset that inhibits progress. Our first village that we visited in 2010, it was called Ujjaini, and that visit had such an impact on my team and me that it made us pledge to work towards this very basic right of every Indian citizen to light. And this vision of light for all is what has kept Team Chirag moving ahead. Our objective, solar energy, which is available in abundance in our country, is used as a pivot around which rural transformation can take place by impacting homes, education, health, social security, and livelihoods. But at the same time, empowering villagers to make this change sustainable. Our end goal is to see a positive change in the development indicators. Let me share some fact file with you. 200 million people in India have no access or very little access to electricity. More than 400 million don't have access to clean drinking water. I mean, these are figures that alarm me in the 21st century. Those below the poverty line are over 230 million, with 84 million living.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I think there's an error. Could you just give us a moment? Has set these 9 villages as an example of change. 4,492 rural citizens uplifted to a life with the light of sun as their beacon of hope. Walking miles in a day on a difficult terrain just to get water is even more difficult than it sounds.
Yeah, Pratibha, why don't you
Sorry.
continue talking even if you don't have the visual?
No, the video is there. The video, I'm supposed to stop for the video. We're just waiting for the video.
No, just my apologies. It's just loading. There was a little error with the file. Give me a moment. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Education, which is considered a fundamental right of every citizen, seems so elusive for these rural Indians. It is to address these issues that we proposed a 5-point transformational model for rural India, using clean and green sources of energy to provide homes with lights, social security outdoors with street lights and portable lanterns, solar and e-learning support to schools to bring about engaged learning, water for drinking and sanitation, and solar for livelihood support. And we are so pleased to share a short video showcasing the impact made by the interventions supported by your club and its donors. Just a short video. Volume.
But since 2019, Rotary Club of Bombay, with the support of Sumitomo Chemical and Prasoga Charities, has set these 9 villages as an example of change. 4,492 rural citizens uplifted to a life with the light of sun as their beacon of hope. Walking miles in a day on a difficult terrain just to get water is even more difficult than it sounds. Survival was a struggle. But the coin has now flipped, and these barren lives flushed with water. A mini solar grid now provides drinking and domestic water to Varghar, while the women in Jogulwadi enjoy clean drinking water from taps in place of muddy wells and rivers. A larger solar system powers lifts irrigation in the village of Varghar, drawing water from the Wagh Dam to the highest point of dispersal via gravity for irrigation. From rudimentary water storage and monsoon-dependent crops to multi-cropping and year-longing irrigation. The villages of Dandwal, Neelmati, and Chinchuntara faced a most spectacular transformation. This water will revive barren lands for a thriving and sustainable livelihood. On our journey of paving the way to bliss, our heart often longs to go where we can never be. But the power of togetherness uses our passion to create an impact. This feeling is like a relationship where you have no regrets, no pain, but just a smile to pass on. This love for joy of giving empowers us as an individual and strengthens us as a team. It's not the humans working, but the souls being grateful. Deleted.
you can see, with solar, our villagers are now free from the high cost of kerosene or wood or other oils, as also from the toxic fumes from these sources. Needless to add, solar lights in their homes have increased their productive hours significantly. Social security with street lights, with portable lanterns, makes for better social interactions post sunset. Otherwise, the villagers' lives came to an end. Their day came to an end when the sun set. Today, with solar lights outside their homes, they are able to have this nice sense of community that is so essential. With schools not being able to afford electricity bills, many have had their meters cut and classrooms have become so uncomfortable with absolutely zero opportunity for e-learning. Schools with solar support have proven to us time and again that students feel more engaged, blossom into confident youth, and both attendance and enrollments see a rise of up to almost 25% year on year. Filtered water and toilets that have water are therefore now used, resulting in improved overall health. Finally, the villagers can stay back in their homes, in their villages, and move from subsistence-based, monsoon-fed farming to year-round multi-cropping thanks to solar irrigation. While we have seen the change at the grassroots, our journey has only just begun. There are many more such interventions required, and we share with you a story from Savroli and hope it becomes the RCB's Model Village project. Let's take you through a walk into Savroli in Vikramgarh Taluka.
Lack of clean water can cause tremendous health issues. Through this model, we aim to transform Savroli. This village has acres of land which is left dry and bare due to shortage of water. With the installation of a well-equipped irrigation system, we can help these villagers make a judicious use of this land and contribute towards generating employment opportunities. Through this pathway, we will be uplifting water and distributing it to the villagers via gravity, the most effective and efficient way. It is truly said, the more you discover, the darker it gets. On our journey to fulfill their needs of water and electricity, we discovered the need of education and awareness. Girls here get married at a very early age, and due to lack of awareness, no one even defends such decisions. On the other hand, we have Rutuja, Kashi, and Sushmita who are striving to pursue higher education. Unlike others, they have a vision to make themselves and their parents proud.
खूप मोठा त्यांनी कष्ट करून मला मोठे केलं. आता मला त्यांच्यासाठी काहीतरी करायचंय. त्यामुळे मला नर्सिंग करून त्यांच्यासाठी थोडंफार काहीतरी करता आलं पाहिजे. त्याच्यासाठी प्रयत्न करायचे.
Another purpose to serve is towards goal second of Sustainable Development Goals, which aims at zero hunger and improved nutrition. And that is where solar cookers come in place. These professionally designed cookers allow schools to avoid relying on the conventional, expensive, and inconvenient gas. From digitalizing education to irrigating farms to ensuring food security, this project is going to be one major contributor to sustainable development. In a hope that we are able to revive the agricultural economy in the village in a sustainable fashion so that we help them generate a consistent livelihood and a hope of a bright future with education of the youth. The ultimate goal is to empower each one of them.
Home to about 120 families with more than 600 villagers, Savroli has a Zilla Parishad school up to the 8th standard. However, they have only 6 teachers to cope with their 216 students. Our dream is to make Savroli into a model village that also satisfies 12 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals enlisted by the United Nations. A 10 kilowatt solar system will help pull water from the perennial, the Herja River, enabling sustainable revival of the village economy. And this is our model agricultural system. The all-round support and training we hope to provide will enable collaboration with government schemes and Gram Deepaks, who we've appointed, who will be the link between the villagers and the government departments, and they will earn a livelihood. It will become a new opportunity for them. Agri training and mobilizing opportunities for drip irrigation will surely ensure per drop more crop. Let's look at the model integrated school. That's what's really different in this 360-degree school intervention. Give me a minute. A mini grid, a 3 kilowatt grid, will power a computer lab with 5 computers, a television, digital connectivity. We will have solar cooking to strengthen the students' midday meal scheme, and an assembly hall built to enable community and student development. And of course, the flagship RCB Scholars, a scholarship to embrace and empower the girl child towards higher education. The model water system. Most homes in this village do have toilets under the government scheme that they have made use of and are awaiting continuous water supply to be able to turn completely ODF. We hope to install a very nice filtration system that you saw in our video. That, along with the water for sanitation, will really help us to make health and sanitation one of the bigger goals we achieve. We have also been in discussions to enable the school managing committee, the self-help groups, farmer groups, and we hope to enter into strategic partnerships to achieve our goal of sustainable rural development that will reduce the inequalities and improve the lot of the villagers while simultaneously achieving SDGs. And I leave you with a request to be a stakeholder in this very, very needy project. Be the solution to the issues at Savroli. Showcase the power and benevolence of the Rotary Club of Bombay in this flagship model village project. Thank you so much for giving us this time to present, and we are open to questions. I do see some questions have popped up on the chat, and I think between Sabha and me, we will take these questions.
Thank you, Pratibha. One of the key issues is that we have also enlisted the villagers themselves who have given their own land and their own labor to help lay the pipelines. So that's one issue that maybe you can explain, at least in the last 9 villages, that is what has happened.
Yes, in fact, it's going to continue here, and even in the school construction, they have decided there's going to be a kind of a village and Rotary partnership. They are going to provide Shramdan, as we call it, not just for laying the pipelines down almost 4 kilometers of absolutely forest and barren terrain. We were there on Saturday, my team and me, and I was sharing with Shani that we were stopped in our paths because 2 snakes decided to cross our path. And, that's the kind of forest area we are talking about near the water source. And these villagers are going to dig trenches for almost 4 kilometers. If you had to monetize their work, it would come to almost 2 lakhs of rupees. They are going to share in the construction of the community hall in the school. They are also going to contribute in whatever way they can to getting the reti and stuff that is required for the building. So I think Shramdan and Bhudan are 2 very key, characteristics of our projects to help get the villagers buy-in, because otherwise they don't feel they're part of the change. They feel you're forcing something on them. This has been designed after multiple meetings, I think all of December, we were there almost 7-8 days continuously, having talks with the villagers, discussing with them, charting out the path that the water will take from the water source, which is a river. It comes up almost ahead of 80 meters, 80 to 100 meters, and then it traverses about 3 to 4 kilometers before it reaches the top of the hill where the village is located. And then we will put it into a tank there for the fields below the hill. Normally, those fields would not get water, and those fields are left barren. But along the way, we will water the fields, and then we'll take it to the highest point and use gravity to take it down to another 15-20 farms on the hilly slopes. So I think the villager buy-in is very, very important. The teachers, the school management committee has been very, very supportive, and they've been holding meetings, trying to get, mobilize the resources at their end. We've also identified 2 to 3 youth who are going to become our Gram Deepaks. And they will really, once we give them connectivity, they will be the connection between village schemes that are their entitlement and the government departments that will give them out. So I think there's a lot of uniqueness to this project. While we have done the Shramdan and the Bhudan, we've got the list of the people who are going to give their land to put up the tank, to put up the solar system. All the villagers whose fields our pipes pass through have already signed a document to say, we are okay, we'll help you dig the trenches. So there's a huge excitement and buzz in the village. And we're really looking forward to taking you there in a couple of months.
Yeah, what is amazing, Pratibha, is that last July, we gave you the mandate for the Gram Panchayat and 3 villages, 3.5 villages.
Yes.
And by November, you had completed it all. And when we actually went there, I mean, Fram, Rose, Preeti, all of us went there. We actually saw it. It was unbelievable. Ramesh, can you pipe in and tell us a little bit of your experience with Chirag?
Hi, friends. I would rather talk about the villages. I think I've seen the overall transformation, and one thing which I've always felt is I don't like tokenism, and here is a scheme where we ensure overall transformation. It starts right with using solar to lift the water, as she said already. Hygiene, sanitation, education, livelihoods. And about 1.5 years back, all of us saw those heart-rending scenes of, these daily wagers walking back to their homes. Here is a case where one has to actually ask oneself, why were they here in the first place? They were here on account of the fact that the entire village economy is on its knees, and efforts like these build back the village economy. And all these guys own lands, and they leave the lands to come and to work as the daily wages. Now, even if that can be halted in our villages, I think RCB would have actually done a yeoman service. Finally, I must add, you all saw this thing about Savroli. I have gone to Savroli myself, and I think it's a very needy village. It's as you heard about 4.5 kilometers away, and the exciting part of it is that the teachers in the school are so motivated. They did to me, what all the villagers, did to, I think, Preeti a few years back, 2 years back, and inspired me to say that 25,000, which is being asked for, at least I will give a lot more than that. Okay. So,
thank you, Ramesh. Thank you.
so I think the opportunity to actually help out in like women's welfare here is huge. And before we or before Chirag had even made out this whole thing, I will share with you that I had said that I had asked that school teacher to identify 4 girls, and I said that I will take care of their transportation to the higher school and ensure that they get educated at least. So it's not that I'm just talking. Over to you.
Thank you.
Naz, may I add something here?
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, Ramesh had asked the teacher what the problems of the school are. And the teacher said that we have up to 8th standard classes. And we find the girls are very keen to study further, but they become like water warriors and they have to go help their mothers fill water, help on the farm, cook, look after younger siblings. And the school beyond 8th is about 5 to 7 kilometers away. So that entails hiring an auto, the village auto, to go. And their parents feel that money is sadly not worth it on the girl child. We found 2 girls who you saw in a video that Sabha shared. These 2 girls have fought the system and the mindset and managed to complete their 12th standard. Now, these 3 girls from the 12th standard are desperate to join the Wada School of Jijamata School of Nursing. And for the SC girls, the fee is around 1.5 lakhs for 3 years. And we asked them, why is it you want to do this nursing course? And they say, we've seen how our parents have suffered and how much they've sacrificed for us to be able to study. And we really want to change the situation at home. We want to get hired by the primary healthcare centers in the area where there aren't enough qualified people. And there are 2 kinds of courses. There's one auxiliary nursing course and there is one general nursing course. And obviously the general nursing course is 3 years. The auxiliary is 2 years. So I said, why don't you opt for the 2-year course, thinking that, the donation will be lesser? And the girl very smartly answered back saying, madam, I want to be helping general surgery. I don't want to just be a midwife. And it really made my heart feel so warm, that there is somebody who wants to bring about change. So I think if you can adopt them as Rotary scholars or whatever it is you wish to do, and, like you say, on a birthday, somebody wants to gift, we can over 3 years support, every 3 years, we can support 2 or 3 girls like that. It would be really nice. This village would be transformed every which way.
Thank you. So I think now we should open up to questions. If people have questions, either you put up your hand or you just put it on the chat and we could answer. I think, yeah, Ajay, you'll have to unmute yourself.
I've done so.
Yeah.
I've asked 2 questions. One is that you started your journey in 2010, Pratibha.
Yes.
And how many villages have you covered so far and how many people in all? That's one question.
Yeah. May I answer that first before you go to the next?
Please.
Yeah. So we are currently, as of yesterday, at 404 villages.
Wow.
And about 120,000 people. We did 69 villages in the month of December and post RCB. And 120,000 rural Indians, 11 states. We are currently working in a big way in Maharashtra, but we're also working in Gujarat and Tamil Nadu currently. Again, other states, we go as per our donor requirements.
Mm-hmm.
We do have partners, like in Tamil Nadu, we are working with the forest department and we are doing forest villages in the elephant country near Hosur. In Gujarat, we are in the Banarghata and the Baroda regions. Depending on our donors, wherever they have their facilities, we move with them.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
My second question is the 2 villages that we are talking about now. What is the total cultivatable area of these 2 villages? How many acres of that is under cultivation? What is the area that you propose to bring under cultivation?
Okay,
Sabha's going to
I have the question on the chat also in case you want to see it.
chat wasn't opening. Sabha's going to take that question, Ajay, if you don't mind.
So, hi, good afternoon. So the system has the capacity to irrigate up to 40 acres of land, and 40 acres of 40 farmers will be incorporated in the first fold. But what we have seen in all our projects is that this number grows multifold. As farmers form cohorts, they indulge in group farming. We also see them taking their own pipelines across these pipelines, and we see that over a period of time, after 4 cropping cycles, you should be able to see approximately 60 acres of land under cultivation. But within the first fold, you will see 40 acres coming.
Okay, Sabha, beg your pardon, but do you know what the total cultivatable area of the 2 villages is?
Yes. It's actually the village of Savroli, which we are talking about. And there are about, I think, 200 acres of total cultivable land.
Okay.
Right now, when we were there the last 2 weeks, 6 acres is being cultivated with a little water that's coming out of one bore well.
Okay.
We are, of course, going to give water to the farms that we are going to cross because, laying the pipes and taking it further and further becomes more expensive. So like Sabha said, out of the 200 odd acres, which is spread across a very vast area, we are targeting 40 acres as a start, and we will grow that to 60. And probably in phase 2, we could look at raising water from another point and taking it on the other side.
What also happens is once these farmers get water, they are able to develop their own water conservation. So they build their own jalkunds. They will be integrated with government schemes that will allow them to do this. Once they build their own jalkunds, they are able to harvest rainwater. And by that, they grow the amount of land they're able to cultivate. So it's a nice cycle that we're looking to close here.
Is this all going to be drip irrigation?
Not yet. It will all be regular irrigation. However, as the farmers can avail of the drip irrigation scheme by the government, what will happen is that they will be able to take more land under cultivation because the amount of water required by them will decrease.
So
we integrated at this time.
Sorry, Ajay, we are doing that with the Gram Deepak that I talked about.
Yeah.
We do have people who are going to come in tomorrow. The farmers' meeting is there tomorrow, and they will come in and tell us how many of them are open to this drip schemes. And we will then tie up with the government departments and try and link them and get it. There is a drip irrigation scheme that is available to farmers.
Yeah.
They have to contribute, I think, a certain percentage. So those who can contribute that will avail of that facility.
So I would like to contribute not only in terms of money, but also in terms of time.
Wonderful. Ajay. Wonderful.
I have had experience of doing substantial development in the rural areas in terms of increasing the yields of various crops. This has been when I used to run the sugar factories that we had. So we doubled the yield of the crops that we grow there. And I understand drip irrigation as well. I understand the costing of drip irrigation, so you really can reduce the cost at which can be done. So there are various ways and means by which one can enhance what you are doing. What you're created is wonderful, and I hope I can add a bit to it.
Thank you, Ajay. We really look forward to most Rotarians putting in sweat equity as well, that we get in there and we actually, because this village, we said choose a village that is close to us, that won't take too long to reach, that won't be, the one we went to, that Tokpada, was so up and down. I was really seasick almost. But
you're doing the one village or the 2 villages?
No, it's Savroli village. It's like a big one village. We've already done 3 villages this year at Nasik area, that Tokpada and all those, Dandiwal, that area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nilamati.
The paper that you sent talked about 2 villages, and unless I'm mistaken, you talked about a cost of 50 lakhs for each village.
No. It is one large village. Large village, and that's for 51 lakhs. Yes.
51 lakhs.
So typically what happens is there are little hamlets that kind of crop up around the village. So some of the Savroli Pada land is also part of this. So whatever comes along the way of lifting water, they will all get.
Okay.
But we'll definitely get in touch. I'll take your connects from Shanaz and get in touch with you. Maybe we could have a meeting first and then we could take you along with us next week.
Sure.
Yeah.
It'll be a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you.
I have to say thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Johnny, Meera had a question.
Yeah, Meera.
Yeah, I'd like to know, how do you facilitate increasing their livelihoods apart from the agricultural, income? Is there any other way that we facilitate increasing their livelihoods?
Sure. Thanks, Meera, for the question. We are looking at hiring these Gram Deepaks, like I said, like a volunteer who will link the government schemes to the villagers. That's one part. The other part is we are working with the self-help groups. And we are still in talks with them to find out what they're doing. Right now, our thrust has been for the farmer meetings. Tomorrow, along with the farmers, we've also invited the self-help groups. Thing is, they are all, I want to share this with you. Almost 130 people were not in the village on Saturday because they were doing Manrega work. Another 100 people had migrated. So Wednesday is their weekly off from Manrega. So we are hoping to go back tomorrow and meet with the self-help groups. There was a self-help group head who was very proactive in the first meeting. So I'm hoping to get her back and find out how we can enhance. Another thing that's happened is we get a lot of youth involved in our projects, as you all might have seen at the last installation as well. We had a young girl from Bombay International School come along with her mother, who runs a play school in Mumbai, in Colaba. And she's an ambassador of Project Chiraga, youth ambassador. And over the last 10 days, she has been able to do a kind of a crowdsourcing of play school gadgets and gizmos and toys. And she's coming back with us again next week to hand it over to the Anganwadis. When we put the solar cooker there, we hope to hire or to give employment opportunity to a couple of the self-help group women who will cook on those solar cookers, and they will get a livelihood opportunity as well. As we go along, like Sabha said, after 4 crops, you really get to know what's the kind of income they make. And just to give you an idea, as of now, post-monsoon, there are only 3 farmers who are cultivating. Each of them owns 2 to 3 acres. They are cultivating less than 1 acre with a little water from a stream that they have. And one guy has a bore well on his farm. So he says, I'm managing to grow a little bit of gawar, bhindi, mirchi, and corn. And I was quite happy. I said, how do you sell it? Again, we're open to you guys helping us to connect them with markets. But he said, there's a guy who comes every week and collects our produce. And I said, how much does he pay you? Now, gawar, you and I know, is 120 rupees a kilo in Bombay. I know this because just yesterday I picked it up from the vegetable vendor, and they get 20 rupees a kilo. And he says, I need a person to be hired to go plucking the gawar from my 1 acre. It takes about one person's full day, 8-hour day, to get 10 kilos of gawar. And that cost itself is 250, but he's making only 200.
But Pratibha, what we actually saw, Meera, we actually saw in the village that we had given water to, one old man, he came up to us and we asked him that, did you earn any money from these additional crops that you, and he said, yes, last month I got 18,000, before that I got 12,000. So they're earning more by cropping in so many times more than they do today. In fact, as she says, today they're not doing anything. It's only what they want to, what they eat from that they may grow in their village garden. So here we will be actually helping the farmer farm. They will be actually farming. So that livelihood is main. And at Pratibha, we also gave fruit trees. So they earn from the fruit trees that we have been donating. You know, RCB has been donating fruit trees. So from that, they will start earning.
And Satyan has a good idea. it also farm tourism, like an ecotourism. I think that was Preeti's dream in Vargadpara also, to build a kind of a little homestay. However, close to Savroli, there are a lot of small, quaint resorts. And we could look at that at some point for the villagers, where you could take them on an eco tour, a little bit of trekking. We are doing that on the Panvel side in one Rajmachi village, where we are lifting water for them. We're looking at it. We've given a solar system to a small villager who's made a shed with a little restaurant and a couple of tents that he puts up for trekkers who go from Della Resort for treks up there. So there are various things. We will look at that, Meera, and we're happy and open to ideas.
May I also add?
Need some inputs as to increase the agricultural output and how to market it so that they earn more than what they are used to.
Yes, luckily Chirag have a lot of on-ground support, which we will be using all the time. Not only in terms of maintenance, but sustainability of these projects. We need to ensure that these projects continue. It should not be just 3-4 years. It should be forever. So, that sustainability, we're looking to Chirag because they have that on-ground support.
Can we
There
use
are a couple of
grants to scale up this project? Sorry. Can we use global grants to scale up this project and, cover many more villages?
I've been dreaming of that, but I don't know. We'll have to ask Vijay ji, where is he? I've been telling him to apply for a global grant.
Yeah, that would really be good.
I don't think you can get global grant for this. But anyhow, if I get the full details, then we can explore.
But why not? Because we are covering all the criteria, including, the preliminary need assessment.
Meera, what has happened is now the TRF doesn't have money. And they are only looking at excuses to reject the global grant application. So it's not going to be easy, but we can still try.
I think we can do that separately. We can chat on that.
Yes, we can do that separately. What we really need to do is please give your commitment, all of you, towards 25,000. Please, that's the minimum. We've already got 5 lakh CSR. I'm going to put in, Preeti's putting in, everybody. Framrose has said he's going to bring in a big chunk. So please, we look forward to everybody's support. And hopefully, we make this a big success. And we really help people. Vineet, I think you yourself have said you will put in money.
Yes, indeed, Sharni, from the time that you have described the project, as Ajay was saying earlier, thanks for bringing the opportunity to all of us.
Thank you. Mihir, you were there. You saw everything, right, Mihir?
Yes, it was a total eye-opener and amazing. I mean, feeling to see that we are affecting so many lives in a little way that we can. And I think it's a great initiative. And I think we all should contribute to the best of our abilities.
It's beyond the eye-opener.
Yes, Ajay. Yes, Ajay.
What is the timeline to close the financing?
No, we want it actually as fast as possible because we have given them a timeline that by the Rotary Day, our annual day, they have to have all this up and running. That means in 3 months, less than 3 months. I don't know if they'll finish by then, but we're hopeful that in 4 months at least, if you can do it. So
your contribution should be in place in 15 days.
Yes, as soon as we can, as soon as we can give money, just, even if you give your minimum amount, add on later, but let's everyone start giving that little bit.
So we can set the ball rolling. Yeah, we can set the ball.
Yeah, Pratibha?
No, I thought we will be able to complete it by end March, as you said, COVID permitting. Right now, things are still okay in the village and we are going up and down.
So Pratibha was saying she needs to book, buy the filter from Australia. She has to, the water filter, she has to buy all the solar panels, the pipelines, all that will start. So whatever we have collected, Pratibha, I will send off to you to start your work.
Thank you
because
so
we
much.
do want to finish it at the earliest.
Rani, Ashish has a question.
The question, yeah.
Yes, Ashish. Please,
Hi,
where
quick
are
question.
you?
Sorry, I may have missed it because I've been in and out of my room right now. What are you all doing on the health front?
On the health front, we are helping the ASHA worker. Unfortunately, this village does not have a primary health care center, and they travel almost 8 kilometers to a PHC. But we have been in talks with them, and we hope to give them also light and water. But on the health front in the village, by just giving them pure drinking water and saving them hours of trekking up and down hilly terrain, their bodies are in better shape. They have more productive hours. They are eating healthier food with the water we give their farmlands. So we found the health parameters improving. We do a lot of other behavioral change training with the ladies, and we are trying to change the mindset from child marriage to at least 18 to 20 marriage. And for that, I think there's a two-pronged approach, Mr. Contractor, where we are encouraging and making education more exciting for them. We are supporting them in higher education. So we are hoping that the girls will not get married. We saw a 7th standard girl who was married and pregnant. And that breaks your heart. So when they get, they get pregnant early, there's malnourishment anyways for the girl child. She gives birth to children who are not good. So in the ICDS center, which is their integrated child development centers run by the government, we are giving them solar support. We are giving them pure drinking water and whatever other facilities they need. They have a weighing scale. We are looking at these solar cookers that we install that could make some nutritious snacks for the children. They are 0 to 6 that come to the ICDS center. So overall, I think if you had to see a direct impact, it's pure drinking water and better food, better quality.
Ashish, do you have any ideas, Ashish, that we could
I'm sure a lot can be done because everything that you describe will obviously have indirect health benefits, but none of it is, directly has a direct health,
medical intervention.
Explore that. We can explore that.
Yes, we can, and I'll be happy to just give me a couple of weeks. Right now, there are fires around the place, so
we can understand that.
Take care of that, but we will look at that. Thanks.
Thank you, Ashish.
But Shanaz, when the principal was talking about the community hall, one of the things he requested it for was to hold medical camps. Okay. They're using the school premises for vaccination. I'm very happy to say that one of the days we were there, they had just had the vaccination drive. So there is a lot of awareness and availability. They want to do that for the villagers. I think Chris had a question about women empowerment. Chris, that's what the SHGs we talked about. The self-help groups are run by women. And yes, we are looking at encouraging them in some way. We will look at what to provide them based on what are their, their preferences. But to give you an example, I think President Shanaz has already earmarked one sewing machine for a widow in Varghatpada, who we met again per chance. We bumped into her when we were there. And, there is a sewing machine that is going to be given to her for her to make income while she's living alone and managing with him.
There was a question about our satellite members getting involved. Of course, I mean, they should be able to get involved, Nandan.
Yeah, so I will ask Pratibha and Ramesh Narayan. We'll hold a meeting exclusively for this subject. In what way they can give time, because for them to see these young children and how the things in the future is more important,
Yes.
And as almost all the satellite members are our Rotary children only. So, it will put a little bit more to the parents also when they go and see themselves. So maybe with Ramesh Narayan's help and Pratibha's help, we'll do something about that.
Right. So
Thank
you so much. I think what we'll do is I will ask Eroj to put on the chat how each one can contribute and, in what way we can send out the funds. And hopefully, I hope that a lot of you will see the joy in giving in this project. Thank you. I think now, Akshay, what is left is your vote of thanks.
Right, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great, wonderful. So thank you so much, Pratibha ji and team Chirag. I think you're doing some wonderful work, and thank you for bringing this to us. And even though it's not written down, but on your behalf, we'd love to plant 10 fruit-bearing trees in your area so that we can do a little more impactful work with you. And I'm sure the entire club will rally behind President Shehnaz and this initiative. We've already got so many people ready to help and to contribute. I'm one of them as well. And I hope that each and every Rotarian will participate in this wonderful cause, because it's truly making an impact at the grassroots level. Also happy to announce that we had 65 members attending today, which is quite a good number, President. So your message was passed on to many people. The next meeting will be held on Tuesday, 18th January. It will be an e-meeting again at 1:40 p.m. Dr. Rajesh Parekh will address the club on COVID update, Omicron boosters, etc. I'm sure this promises to be a good one too. Look forward to seeing you then. The meeting is now closed. Thank you.